It's been 7 weeks since I got my platelet-rich plasma injection. Platelet-rich plasma injection in my left hip in the tendon area. And if you have been following, you might have seen the video of the actual injection plus the 2 weeks post-injection. If not, I'll leave it down in the description if you're curious to see how the actual process went and how I was feeling 2 weeks after. But now I'm talking to you 7 weeks later, because at 6 weeks, you're supposed to hit the maximum effect of the plasma. Here we are. Let me give you some updates of how I have been feeling, and we'll take it from there. I went back on the ice on week 3. I was skating twice a day, and actually at the end of week 3, I was skating and I fell on the ice. And of course, I fell on the left side. It was not great, but I think it put the hip in a little bit of a test to see how it was reacting. So basically, I fell literally like this, and that was the first time, and then I fell twice on my butt. So the hip really had to go through a lot that day. That afternoon, I wasn't feeling great. The next day, I was feeling sore, but not too much. And then the day after, we were walking with my dog on the sidewalk, just morning walk, and we see this other dog running wild on the street. And I freaked out because I didn't want a car to hit him, so we sprinted. I took my own dog and we started sprinting towards the dog. I think I might have run for potentially 3 blocks or something like that until we got there. Spoiler alert, the dog ran away. He got into this gated community. I really hope that was his home. It was really sad. I couldn't catch the dog, but when I stopped, I felt a sudden stabbing pain on my groin area, and that was really scary. I walked back and I started feeling pain also in the side and the back of the hip. And throughout the day, I could feel like my groin area was very sensitive. And I just had, this dull inside pain on the side and the back of the hip. And that lasted potentially 5 days or something like that. So that was Sunday. Monday, I was feeling really, really sore. Tuesday, I was running late for a meeting and I sprinted again. Potentially like 30 meters. It was really not that much. And that made me feel horrible. The moment that I stopped, I felt another stabbing pain, but now it was in the glute. Oh my God, it was so painful. And that same afternoon, I went to physical therapy and I told my PT what was going on. And he said that potentially my hip was already irritated from Sunday, and now I sprinted again and I irritated it more. So instead of like irritation was here, letting it go down, I added more stress to it. So now the irritation is higher. And something that I really value and that I would like to appreciate from my physical therapist is that I was very concerned, really concerned. I was feeling very disappointed that I had only sprinted for 3 blocks. It was such a, it was such a short distance and I was feeling so bad. I was in so much pain. I was so upset. And I think he knew that the problem wasn't as bad as I felt it. However, he spent almost 40 minutes doing tests with my hip. He did the joint tests, like the impingement tests, muscle tests, tendons, on the bed, walking, sitting, standing, jogging. He did all these things and he said that he didn't think that it was that serious. However, I still sent a message to my surgeon's team to see what they thought. So the feedback that I got from my PT and my surgeon's team basically was that when you sprint, there are different muscles and some of the muscles are engaged in a different way and all the soft tissues are engaged in a different way. Since I wasn't ready for it because I hadn't warmed up or anything, I just went for it. I could have irritated the hip. That's why I had so much pain. They were also suspecting that hip flexor had something to do with it because the hip flexor starts in the back and then wraps around to the groin area. So they were thinking that potentially the pain in the groin, pain in the lower back that I had and the pain here could come from the hip flexor being irritated. Basically, they said that if the pain went away, it might have been the hip flexor. Otherwise, it would be a different thing. And the pain did go away like 5 days after the dog encounter, which was great because that was my 1 year post-op anniversary, so I could celebrate it with a little bit more ease. And then I had a trip 2 days after, spent numerous hours in an airplane, in a car, sitting because I was in a conference. And 5 days later, I almost missed my flight, so I had to sprint to get to the airplane. And when I was getting in that airplane, the last person to board, I felt a lot of pain in my hip. And I thought to myself, I screwed up again. Crap. This was around week 5. But thankfully, after the flight, my hip started feeling better and I didn't have that excruciating pain that I had when I had just sprinted. So the idea was that if things were feeling better, I would keep on with my strengthening and my core exercises, the skating, and that's how we ended up in week 6, where I got sick. I got a cold or a flu. It wasn't COVID because I got tested. But you know how it is when you're feeling sick. Everything hurts. I was in so much pain. I had so many muscle aches. It was not good at all. And that was week 6 when we were supposed to see the maximum effect of the plasma, but my hip was hurting so much that I thought that it didn't really make justice to make an assessment of how the hip was doing by then. So that's why we're here in week 7, now that I feel better, to let you know how I'm actually feeling. Because during that week, I was feeling awful. And one of the things that gets me really triggered is that when you're sick, you're usually just resting on the couch in your bed and still the hip hurts. And I'm like, I am not even doing anything. Why is this hip hurting? So my PT was telling me that the body doesn't like to be still. So if you're still for too long, or if you're not really doing a lot of activity, it will be sore as well. So now, 7 weeks later, I feel pretty good. I lifted today, so I do have pain as we speak in this area especially. But yesterday I skated, and the day before I skated as well, and I was feeling okay. For the most part, I would say that my pain has been in a 3 all along. I kept this pain diary because of my surgeon, and I had to assign a pain level every 2 weeks. So from week 2 to week 6, it's been a 3 all along. And the reason why I assign it a 3 is because sometimes it really hurts. Like right now, I would say I am in like a 6 level of pain, but sometimes it doesn't hurt at all. So the average for me is a 3. And something that I was asking my PT was if he thinks that this is actually working, because it's been 7 weeks and I would love to know if we're on the right track. And what he was saying is that even though the pain level has plateaued, my activity level has increased. I'm going back to skating twice a week. I'm jumping in physical therapy. I'm lifting more weight. I am doing more activity, which means that we have increased the intensity and the level of activity, and still my pain is in a 3. So that's still progress. And I really like to see it that way, because I was concerned I was only looking at the pain level, but we have to consider these other factors as well. And I actually also got some feedback from my surgeon's team saying that they feel very happy to see that the pain hasn't gotten worse, that I'm increasing my activity levels. They did say that even though 6 weeks is the max effect of the plasma, we are still expecting to see more improvement in the pain when the muscles feel a little bit less irritated. We keep on with the strengthening. We make sure that the pelvis tilt is correct. Hopefully, I can move on gradually, starting to ramp up my activities. The plan right now is focus on my symptoms. If the hip can tolerate something, I can go back to very light running. Same with like ramping up my skating. We're gonna keep strengthening core, glutes, hip, legs, everything to like make sure that everything can hold me together, and see what happens. Feels like there has been a big improvement. Not gonna lie, sometimes sitting for long times, even though I said that I spent all that time in the car and the airplane and whatever, but sometimes just like sitting in a restaurant. I guess it also depends on the type of chair. That would trigger the hip a little bit and it would be uncomfortable, but once I stand up and start walking, it gets better. So overall, I think the injection was a success. The injection has been one of the most painful things that I've ever done in my life, but I think it has been worth it. And I am really looking forward to see what the rest of this period looks like, because the plasma is still there. I read online that the effects usually last 3 months, so we're kind of halfway there. So I'm really excited to see how we can use this to keep progressing, and I will definitely keep you posted. It's been 7 months since the last time that I ran. The last time that I ran was when the whole craziness went down. My left hip got triggered and the pain started, so we're trying again. I can't say that I am not nervous, because I am freaking out. I really hope that this doesn't bother the hip. We're starting with a little bit of pain. 4 days ago, I was doing a walkthrough of my jumps off ice, and in order to recreate the gliding, I was hopping on one leg, and that really bothered the left hip.
So I've been in pain. Pretty much lasted the first day, and then the other days have been a little bit painful. That day my PT did some tests, and she said that I have one of the strongest glutes that she's ever tested, and that my glute medius is the strongest that she's ever seen in her entire career. So I was so excited about that. Other than that, I'm skating twice a week, so we'll see what happens. I am a little bit nervous because the running is what, started all of this. We're doing 1 minute of walking, 1 of running, 4 times, and that's it. And we'll see how it goes. Cross your fingers for me. I think it is like 10 weeks since the PRP injection, so we'll see how this goes. We're running. We are running. We are running. Oh my gosh, yes. We did it. It's hot. He kind of gave up at the end. I had to carry him all the way back to the car. We did okay. I mean, I am very happy that nothing is hurting right now, because in the past, right after I stopped running, I could feel the pain. Now we're okay. We're gonna see what happens. 1 minute running, 1 minute walking wasn't too much for us. We'll see how it goes. I am very excited that we could try it. I really hope that things go well the rest of the day. It's been a week since I ran, and I haven't given you any updates because I really don't have anything positive to say. It is actually really sad, because Saturday I was okay, Thursday is the day that I ran. Sunday, Monday I was in pain, Monday I skated. Tuesday I was in pain, went to physical therapy, and my physical therapist said that she thinks it is muscular. So she did the same exercises, we did the same routine in physical therapy, and she said, if you have any pain, even soreness out of this workout, don't go skating tomorrow. So I didn't, because I still had a little bit of pain. Really, the hip was feeling better, but I still had that pain every now and then. And then Thursday, I lifted. That's my PT at home. And during the day I was feeling okay, a little bit of pain every now and then, but it was kind of okay-ish. I skated on Friday, and during the afternoon I don't think I had a lot of pain. But today I do have a lot of pain. Today is Saturday. So the initial pain was really like deep in the glute. That has been pretty much the pain. Today it hurts on the side of the hip. So it's like one thing after the other. Like one thing gets better and the other one gets worse. Just so annoying. It was 4 freaking minutes of running. 4 minutes, and it wasn't 4 minutes back to back. It was 1 minute walking, 1 minute running, 1 minute walking, 1 minute running. But here we are. Hopefully it's only muscular. I think we need to be more delicate with the hip, and hopefully I can give you a better update next time.
Thank you so much for making it till the end of this video. If you had an injection, tell us about your experience in the comments, please, because people come here to hear testimonials from other people. So it's always really good to have more insights and more testimonials, more experiences of what you've gone through. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.